everyone. Welcome inside the Faith Loop. It is Wednesday, 5786. That's the way I look at it. Here in the Western world, they call it 2026. Day 2,112,547 of the crisis of identity, or the crisis of identity day 2 million, whichever way it goes. Still sounds right.
Still sounds right. Yeah.
I want to bring into the conversation something that is utilized a lot in our culture today, especially in the Western culture. Right, Pop?
Yeah.
This is Robert A. French. I'm Brian French. We're here to talk to you. I just thought I'd introduce. I don't introduce ourselves that much anymore. You know, I don't.
No, we don't.
I guess if somebody wants to know who we are, I guess you can look us up.
Yeah, they can. I think probably pretty much everyone who watches knows who we are. So
Well, you never know.
you never know.
You know, so I thought I was thinking about that the last time. I said, I never introduce us anymore. We'll just put our names up there. Said, this is who we are. Anywho, but religious liberty, this word. Well, first and foremost, I want to tackle the word religion or religious. I don't use it. It's a poor understanding of something, of a Latin word that, really isn't of value, and nobody really used it in the way we use it today. Back then, it's we've created institutions, and the word faith is the ideological construct by which most of us deal with something.
Mm-hmm.
But in a lot of non-denominational Christianity,
Yeah.
or denominational Christianity, mostly Protestant or Reformed theology, the idea of this religious liberty and the word religion is more used in its construct. But we've created institutions, or I should say faith. Faith isn't a mysterious thing. The word faith just simply means to persuade or be convinced or conviction. Now, our persuasion or our conviction is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of what we haven't seen. But if we would translate it like that, now you have to define your conviction.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can define faith. Do it. All Soren Kierkegaard said was you had to take a leap of faith, a leap out into the darkness. You just got to have faith. It's different than me. I feel it in my heart. I don't have to think about it. It's just faith. I believe. Believe what? Well, I believe Jesus is. Jesus is what? God? How do you know that? Explain it. What is your conviction? We don't even consider an understanding or a thought process to the point of a conviction. Now, I'll tell you what. I'm going to tell on them over here a little bit. My kids. My son-in-law, my daughter, my son, they all read. Voracious readers. Cool stuff. Cool. I love that part of it. I don't know that I would go in that direction, but that's just me. But they talk. They know. They have this. I mean, you talk about canon of these particular books and this and that. But we don't have that same conviction when it comes to the idea of the biblical narrative or the understanding of who Jesus is.
No.
We don't spend as much time with that thought. You brought this up the other day, and I don't mean it bad. They know exactly. We talk about things.
Yeah, sure.
And it's no slight on it. I've been the same way. We all. But I think this bears to what you said even on Sunday. You were talking about how many hours are spent in study of what we say we believe or our faith.
Right.
And it wasn't a lot.
Oh, no. The Hebrews have the most. And it's been a long time since I saw that.
Well, you said it, you were talking about this past Sunday.
Yeah, I know, but it's been a long time since I read it.
Oh,
What I was talking
like
about.
430 hours.
425 hours for a Hebrew child a year,
Yeah.
compared to a Protestant child of about 20-some hours.
Yeah. It was like 30, I think. Dad.
Yeah, and a Catholic child somewhere in 30 hours or so.
Yeah.
And mainly it's just like Sunday school. That's it.
Right.
45 minutes on a Sunday morning.
Some catechism.
Yeah. And catechism, and that's about it. Compared to what Jewish children get, it's nothing. It's just really nothing.
But to me, that's the thought process too. Even at that, that's just even if you're a Jewish child, Hebrew, whatever, 400 and some hours. That's about an hour a day.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's over an hour a day.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas you take 30, I mean, you're not even getting stuff into a full day. I mean, it's like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. There's nothing much at all.
It's no wonder we have no conviction of anything.
And if you've ever sat in a Sunday school class, which I have, the teaching there wasn't always really right on the money.
Well, we were in the belly of the whale.
Yeah. Just Bible stories, nothing of any substance. I understand that if you got a little child, you got them,
Sure, Pop.
3 or 4-year-old kids, 5-year-old kids, you tell them Bible stories and stuff, sure. Well, why don't we put a little more to it than that here and there, and then as they grow, teach them more. We just keep telling the stories. And then we don't teach them much else after that, except dogma or church, the tenets of the church and this and that and the other. That's all I teach.
We institutionalize people.
Yep, very much so.
And then we talk about religious liberty or religious freedom. And it's a term used to define mostly Western civilization, in my opinion, especially in modern America. And, I always think about where'd this come from? Why? Because I've looked in the Bible. I've read it. You've read it.
Yep.
If this is from Jehovah, where is it at? I don't see it in the Quran.
No.
I don't see it in the Torah.
No.
So what are we talking about? And here's the thing, folks, and I don't know, Drew, you probably saw the picture. I had the picture in there. You could just put back up the thumbnail. But on the thumbnail here, folks, this is in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. This is the Abrahamic family house. And what you see there is 3 what we call houses of worship. It is a Catholic church, a synagogue, Jewish synagogue, and a Muslim mosque or Islamic mosque, whatever. I don't know. And they're all there together, and it was to promote this idea of religious freedom, liberty, and we're all kumbaya with this, that. But what in the world shows or brings this idea of a so-called religious liberty, Dad?
I didn't hear your last.
Oh, I said, where do you see that in the world?
Nowhere.
Most of it's running up and down shooting at each other.
Right, yeah. Yeah, you don't see that anywhere. Now, you will see it in Israel a little bit.
Yeah.
Not so much the Muslim presence, but yet the Mosque of Omar is there.
Mm-hmm.
And the Dome of the
There's
Rock.
always fighting and duking it out around
Dome
there.
of the Rock. When my wife and I were there years ago, we were allowed to go up there and we could see it. Today, a Jew is not allowed on that mountain.
Mm-hmm.
They're not allowed up there. You can't go. And then if you try to go into Gaza or Palestine, as they call it, if you're a Jew, you can't go. Or they warn you, you don't go. But the Arabs all come into Israel and work. They work there. They work in Israel. They have their jobs there. It's weird. But today, as I say, that it's there. Then you've got the Catholic presence, of course. You've got all the cathedrals, and things like that. And then the Muslim presence, and then, of course, the Hebrew. It's all there in Israel. But it's not, just because it's there, don't misunderstand that, because the tensions and things that are there. For instance, I was standing outside of my hotel and on a street, and I was just walking down a little bit, and a couple of young people walked by, young teenagers. And I pointed at something that was Christian, as they say. And I said, "Do you believe in that?" And they wouldn't even look at me. They just went like that, kind of, and took their hands and just started walking faster. And I think one of them shook his head like that. And they wouldn't even talk to me, wouldn't look at me, nothing. So tell me that they're all getting along and it's all good. And they may be there, but that doesn't mean that. And look what's going on now.
And this is what I mean. I think a lot of it's cloaked. I think there's factions and this and that. But what do you believe? Where's conviction? Where's faith?
Yeah.
And people will say, well, they're radical. They're killing. What do you think that's radical or not? That's a very serious conviction these people hold.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We call it radical, crazy, they're insane, they're this, they're that. Nope, they're convicted. That's a conviction to those people. Right, wrong, or indifferent, whether you agree or disagree in that respect, these people have a serious conviction about what they believe.
Oh, they do.
And that's just the way I look at it. I can look at it not. Do I think anybody ought to murder somebody or kill somebody over it? No, I don't.
But is that any different than the early Christians?
Agreed, Pop. Right?
That was their conviction too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They went up down the world just killing each other. And
what was why did you send armies into Palestine at the time to crusade against the Muslims?
yeah, God wills it.
Right?
Yeah.
So these are the history of things. And people say, well, now we just didn't understand. No. Because I will tell you this. Now, in none of the writings within, we talk about this, the Abrahamic family. Well, no, there's only one Abrahamic family. There only has always been one.
Mm-hmm.
Was Ishmael a son of Abraham? Sure, absolutely. But he wasn't the promised one. Now, you can accept that or don't accept that. It's up to you. You have to come to that conviction.
That's what the book says.
What do we have? And this is the thing, and I don't think, see, we say religious liberty. Well, let's break that down. You say liberty. This is an oxymoron, this statement. Why? Because the word religion in of itself, we don't define it correctly when it came from what Cicero discussed back in his treatise on the Republic. He talked about being bound to the Republic. That's a religere. To bind back, to bind fast, to bind something to... That's what the word is. So, in and of itself, okay, if you bind... But then on the other hand, and this is where you come back to this, Jesus, we have in the Greek the abstract constructs of liberty, or what we say free. Mm-hmm. Jesus said, to whom the Son is set free, he is free indeed.
Right.
But we never define the free. We just say we're free. Free what? What do you mean free? Is anybody truly free in this world? Or do you adhere to some form of instruction based on a national ideology that says this is what you do and this is what you don't do? Well, you're not free to do that. Well, but that's a moral thing and that we shouldn't. Well, but then you're not at liberty. You truly do not have liberty. You're not free. The word liberty means to do as I please, to be at my own pleasure. That's what the word means. Free. I am free to do what? So you have this bind, this word that's binding, and this other word over here says, no, I'm free. And you say religious liberty. So I'm free to bind what? What are we talking about? This is nonsense. It doesn't even make sense. But yet this is the things we hold ourselves to. Yep. And we've built around and constructed around an amendment in this Constitution with this mindset, Dad.
Yep. Exactly. Well, they use the word liberty and freedom and all of that, but they didn't call a bill that was written the Bill of Liberty or the Bill of Freedom. They call it the Bill of Rights.
Yes.
We are given certain inalienable rights, okay? These rights are specified up to a point.
Sure.
But it doesn't mean that we're just free to run around and do what we want to do. It doesn't mean that at all. We have certain rights. And if you like, you hear this in every detective show that's ever been made, somebody gets arrested. Well, I know my rights.
Right.
They don't say I'm free. I know my freedom. I know my liberty. They don't say that. I know my rights. They have a right to a phone call. They have a right to a lawyer, a right to an attorney. We have
you have the right not to incriminate yourself.
Right. Yeah. And you have to be Mirandized.
Right.
And, the way they Mirandize them on TV is not the way it's done. They read it to you, and they
if
ask you.
If it isn't read to you like that, they can throw that out.
Yeah, they can throw it out. Yeah. And so, I had a police officer one time tell me that people watch too many movies. He said, TV is killing us. It just ain't that way. Yeah. So, but we have certain rights that we have given to the population, that they can be, they have a right to, as you say, to a just defense.
A fair and speedy trial.
Fair and speedy trial, just defense, and so forth. If you're found guilty, then they...
But no, I was free to do that.
No, you weren't. No, you weren't free to
Well,
do it.
that's a law. Well, wait a minute. Who cares? I don't believe that. See, and this is what's
Exactly.
problematic,
Well,
right?
how many are in prison right now? They evidently didn't believe it, did they?
And see, well, that they were wrong. Well, but this is what's problematic within mankind, and this is the issues that are there. And this is why when we say these words, religious liberty, it's nonsensical. Because no matter what your ideal thought process is concerning faith, there is nothing in any faith that I've read or whatnot that says that theirs isn't correct and everybody else's is wrong, and why would I give that person the right to do something that I believe is completely wrong?
Yep.
And these were the issues we had early in this nation.
Yep. Very much so.
Listen, and I'll show you. There was an article. The Christian Post did a bunch. You can, Drew, if you've probably got the links already down in there, don't you, buddy? All the links of the references are available down in the description. Go check out these. You can read it for yourself.
Yep.
There's an article in here because Christian Post was doing the America 250. The Last of the Romans is what it's called. The forgotten story of the Declaration of Independence's last surviving signer. The guy was a Roman Catholic. That's why they call him the last Roman.
Yeah.
And friend, this guy, if you read this article, the stuff he went through, Catholicism in this nation was not well thought of.
Oh, no, it wasn't accepted. And in Canada, you couldn't even hold certain jobs. You couldn't do much at all if you were Roman Catholic. No, not in Canada. Man, it was almost verboten.
I don't think we realize the gravity of the Reformation that happened in Europe and the war that ensued, and I would dare say millions of people that were killed because of the Reformation and the war that followed with the Papists. Because that's what they were called. They were called Papists. Or Reformers.
Right.
Or Protestants, because they were protesting the power of the papacy. This was ignited by the 95 different ideas surrounding Luther's problems with the Roman Catholic Church.
Mm-hmm.
This is period. Well, I don't think any of them are right, to be honest. I think it's all a mess. I think they're all missed the mark, because there's no why are we fighting and killing and doing? If somebody we're here to preach the good news. What is the good news, and why do we do these things? And we don't think enough about these things. We just take this like, yeah, we're Americans, we're Christian, man, religious liberty, we'll let you do. And these people that are in this nation, folks, that have come here, understand that. And they don't feel the same way that you do about the subject I'm here to tell you.
No.
I'm not against them or hate them or this. And that's the thing. I'm not saying you have to go out and kill them, this, that. That's not the point of this. That's just the thought process. And then there's a lot of people on the side of Christianity who feel the same way, who shouldn't do that. I've had family members say we ought to just go over there and nuke it till it's glass.
Yeah.
That's not right.
No.
That's good Christian folk. That's wrong too.
That's wrong.
It's not. So what do we, this terminology to me, Dad, is just a poor representation of any kind of thought process. And to be honest, I don't think it really serves anything other than the nations of the world that are working to eliminate the truth about Jehovah anyway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, it's amazing when you travel, and if you've traveled, I'm sure you've come up against this same thing or you've seen it. My wife and I were in Egypt, in Cairo, Egypt, and we were in the hotel, the Shepherd's Hotel. It's where Eisenhower stayed, and Rommel actually stayed there too, and then Patton, and it was an old hotel, beautiful thing, just a beautiful, had alabaster pillars in it. You could take a light and hold it on one side of that pillar and it would shine through.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah. The alabaster, and it's just gorgeous. It's what the little box was made out of.
Yeah.
The woman anointed
Yeah.
Jesus' feet. And beautiful place. They later firebombed the thing and blew it up. It's crazy.
Naturally.
But we're eating dinner one evening, and young waiter waiting on us, about 19, probably 18, 19, 20 years old, young man. Nice young man, spoke English, broken, but he spoke it where you could understand him. And he was talking to us, and he told me, he says, I want to go to America. I said, well, you could immigrate. I said, you have to go through a process.
And this is in the 60s, right?
Oh, yeah. This is 60,
Was it 66?
no, 68.
68?
And he talked a little bit more, and finally I said to him, I said, why do you want to come to America? He said, in America, if somebody treats you bad or they do bad things to you, you can just kill them. I said, where'd you hear that? Who told you that? And I was serious. Who told you that? I said, it's not that way, son. You can't. And he went, and then he asked us, how do you travel like this and stay in this hotel? I said, well, we had some money, and then I said we borrowed some money to help pay for the ticket and so forth from our bank. And he looked at me astonished. He did. He said, how did you borrow money from a bank? Are you wealthy? Are you someone important?
Mm-hmm.
I said, no, we're just working folks. He said, there's a bank in this hotel. I'm not even allowed to go in it. They will not let me in the door or anyone like me.
Right.
He couldn't even understand the concept of having a bank account or a loan from a bank or anything. I mean, he stood there with just an astonished look on his face. Like,
This is in the 1960s.
Yeah.
Late 1960s.
yeah, 68. People don't understand. It isn't the same way all around the world.
No.
It's not the same. And the images that they have, what he did, he watched movies. He watched American movies, the old gangster movies, things like that. And he got this concept out of that. It's amazing. We think that, people ought to know things. They don't know. And what Brian was talking about a minute ago, what was he convinced of? What he saw in movies, what he thought was true, he was convinced of and said it to me. So that was where his faith was, wasn't it?
Yes.
And it wasn't true. So can you have faith and believe in something that's not true? Absolutely. And mess you up bad.
Because what is your conviction? What
That's
are you
right.
persuaded of?
And do we know the truth?
Amen, Dad.
How many do we really seek to know the truth? I told my wife today, we looking at some the political stuff that was left on our door, and and you see the commercials. I don't believe any of them.
No.
We got one here running now. He's going to go to Washington and fight Trump, and he's going to do that. He's one man. He's got one vote. he's going to do all this, man. We're going to do this and do this. I'm looking at him like, and you expect me to believe you? And people do. And it just amazes me.
Think about this. I'm going to do this because, we talk about, because here, this is just in history.com.
Yeah.
Freedom of religion is protected by the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. Is it? What does that mean? Which prohibits laws establishing a national religion or impeding, the free exercise of religion for its citizens. All right. While the First Amendment enforces the separation of church and state, which that's not what it says. It says the first stuff up there. It doesn't exclude religion from public life. From the colonial era to present, religion has played a major role in politics in the United States. Then how has it played a major role if there's a separation of the church and state? How has it done that? Shouldn't be playing any role whatsoever.
No.
The U.S. Supreme Court over the years has ruled inconsistently on matters of religious freedom, such as the display of religious symbols in government buildings.
Right. Took down the Ten Commandments everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
All that.
America wasn't always a stronghold of religious freedom. More than half a century before the Pilgrims set sail in the Mayflower, French Protestants called Huguenots, or Huguenots, established a colony at Fort Caroline near modern-day Jacksonville, Florida. The Spanish, who were largely Catholic and occupied much of Florida at the time, slaughtered the Huguenots at Fort Caroline. The Spanish commander wrote, "The king that he had hanged the settlers for, scattering the odious Lutheran doctrine in these provinces."
Oh, mercy.
The Puritans and Pilgrims arrived in New England in early 1600s after suffering religious persecution in England. However, the Puritans of Massachusetts Bay Colony didn't tolerate any opposing religious views. Catholics, Quakers, and other non-Puritans were banned from the colony.
Yeah.
And we talk, so what's your point, Brian? What do you, look, we use this terminology for what purpose? What's the purpose of it? In other nations of the world, you don't see this. I mean, this particular, and it didn't matter of we use the term religion, but it's a matter of somebody's faith, ideological construct. What's your convictions? People have been slaughtered for thousands of years over what they believe to be the truth of existence, of cultural standing, of societal norm.
Yep.
That is faith. What you're convinced of. What is truth? Something Pilate said to Jesus that day.
Yep.
Mankind has been searching for, and we have all these things, and I don't see any true, we'll put it this way, compassion in mankind.
Not a lot. No.
How do we let go of this world? Because people say, well, Brian, you're just pushing Christianity. No. No, I'm not. Tell you honestly, I don't believe in Christianity, and we're going to be doing some more work on these things, and we're going to talk about these things over the next little bit.
Yep.
That Pammy did, brought that subject yesterday. You guys talked about,
Yep.
And it's hard to hear these things, but we don't even try anymore.
No.
Nobody wants to try. Nobody wants to talk about it because there's what about them? What about them? Well, what about us? Who are we? Who am I? How about you just look at a little self-reflection and start there? And that's what I've done in my own life. I can't say something to somebody else without first understanding that what is true in my own convictions, in my own understanding of what life is. Can we define life? Can anybody define these things? Because everybody's dying. Where is life? And what does life mean? Well, we were promised eternal life with this, and nobody wants eternal life. You ask, I was listening to this. This was a poll taken on a local station here, very well-known local radio personality in the afternoon drive. And they were talking about this poll about who wants to live forever. 71%. What do you think they said?
No.
Correct.
Yeah.
And these personalities, and they said it openly, Catholic believers, I don't want to live forever. Wait a minute. Wait. I thought that was the purpose of what's the goal?
That's what Jesus promised.
What are we talking about? And I listened to quite a bit of it, and they never started talking about, well, in this world, this, that. But we have no idea what we even, and we sit around talking about religious liberty. Well, you don't even know what you believe. What are we doing, Dad? I couldn't believe that. That was just ridiculous.
I know. But it's amazing. And I knew my answer when you said it because I know what they think. I've read things like that too, and I've heard people talk. And people say, "Well, you're what are you doing? You're sitting there fighting Christians." And no, I'm not fighting anybody. I'm trying to enlighten people. I'm not going to take a gun and go shoot nobody. I'm not going to go invade their church and scream and yell and walk down the aisle and hit people in the head. I'm not going to do that. But I am trying to tell the truth. Do I think that all Christians are just bad people and don't know nothing? No, I don't think that at all. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about the institutions that bind people, as Brian was talking earlier, that bind people to them, not to Jesus, not to the Lord, but to their dogma, to their tenets of faith, to this, to that, to the point that if they are at liberty to do it wherever they are, they will act in a way that they shouldn't act. I've said this before.
We've seen that through history, Dad.
And I'll say it again. In Mexico City, a couple of years ago, I think now, maybe a year ago, there was a town just south of Mexico City, a small community, and they had a priest there, Catholic priest, who was threatening the Protestants until they actually were so fearful they began to leave. They left their homes, their belongings, everything. They got out because he told them, if you don't, this is what's going to happen to you. The government of Mexico had to step in and stop him. Now, tell me that's from the Lord. I've never walked up. I had a priest walk in here a couple of years ago. He was starting a new work over here. He walked in and introduced himself to me. I said, fine.
Yeah, we chatted him up.
Never picked him up and threw him out, never threw him up against the wall, swatted him in the mouth, didn't do nothing to him.
He was actually a very nice man.
Yeah, he was a nice guy.
Pleasant to talk to.
Yeah, he's pleasant to talk to, funny guy. I didn't, But if
I agree with him.
I didn't agree with him. And but I didn't want to hurt the man. In fact,
No.
I would have rather tried to convince him of the truth.
And did say things like that. And
I
I know
did.
Pam, she was over there a lot talking
to
to
him
him,
all the
talked
time.
to him all the time about it.
Yeah. And
But he was a dyed-in-the-wool humanist.
Yes, he told me, that's one of the first things he told me. He said,
Yeah.
I'm a humanist. Okay. Well, that tells me a lot right there.
I'm a Jesusist myself.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't know, man.
You know, who's on the Lord's side? Come over here. And, you know, it's just amazing. I'm not against anybody. I'm not fighting anybody. I'm not against anyone. I'm trying to preach the gospel, tell the truth about Jesus.
I'm against this world
Yeah.
and everything that's in it and everything that man has made of it. That's what I'm against, because that's what Jehovah's against.
Yeah.
Well, he's not the only God. This God, we look at it different. Look, there are, and Dad and I have discussed this on numerous occasions. I said this yesterday. We were having a conversation after Inside the Faith Loop yesterday, and one of the things that, to me, I took special care in it, and I'm still going through stuff. I'll go back and do it, just because if there's something new I missed or this or that. But I've taken a lot of care in reading multiple and as many and finding what we call creation myth or stories that are plentiful out there in the world.
Oh, yeah.
And all of them contain a flood story. This is why most scholars can't dispute it anymore and won't dispute it anymore. They will tell you that there was a cataclysm of a flood on the earth. It's just undeniable.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, they'll use their own shtick to
Yeah.
say
It was
but-
a local flood, this and
So,
but they won't deny it. There was a flood.
so just a flash flood.
Yeah, flash flood, local.
Oh, but I read these stories because I want to, and I compare it. And I've read through from the Muslims everything that's out there, and the Muslims have the same one as it's Genesis. And the thing that's interesting to me, no matter what you want to think about the Islamic, the Abrahamic, the Hebrew, the Jewish, Christian, there's one thing that stands in Genesis that, to me, is the defining conviction of my life. And it's the only narrative concerning creation that truly defines being as a person. And this is why I don't agree with mainstream Christianity or Hebrew, any of them that talk about an incorporeal or a non-physical being known as Jehovah. I don't believe it. I think it's nonsense. Because we were made in his image and his likeness, is what it says.
That's what it says.
The entire universe is very physical. The universe is physical.
Really?
Beings are physical. Jehovah is a physical being.
Yes, he is.
And he set us in motion in his image and likeness. And this has always been what's at issue. And mankind has rebelled against that to usurp that authorship from him and take his power. That's what this is all about. It's not about a religious liberty, this oxymoron. No, it's about a understanding of what we were created to be and accept the truth of that and live according to that design, that will.
Yep.
And manifest it as a representative of our Father and what we've been given. That's the truth.
Yeah.
That's the good news.
That's
And
the
in
good
that is eternal life. The rest of all of this is just And Jesus, there's a lot of story behind that. And Jesus is that offering, that representation of that creation. Not pre-existing, but what was from the beginning in Adam is now finished in Jesus. He accomplished what and did not succumb to the beast, did not succumb to the adversary. Nevertheless, Lord, your will be done.
Yep.
Whereas the first man, the first male, said, wait a minute, maybe we can do this. Maybe we can usurp. Maybe we can do this. We can. But the consequence of that is death. You're not at liberty to do as you choose or please. There is no such thing as free will. There's consequence to action. And the one action is death. These are all things that we've been taught for our entire lives, as especially in Western civilization, in Christianity. And it's wrong. It's just wrong. We need to understand the truth and who we are.
Absolutely.
And find the freedom of what the Son has set us free from. He has set us free, as Paul said, from the instruction that leads to missing the mark that brings death.
Yep. I thought of something kind of funny a minute ago. It's a wonder some archaeologists haven't found signs saying, don't drive your chariot through swift running water. Oh, I know. I'm sorry, folks. Sometimes I just think funny things. Hey, Dustin. Glad to see you're with us, brother.
Any last thoughts?
No?
Other than the chariot going
Other
through
than
the water?
the chariot, don't drive your... See, Pharaoh should have listened to that. Don't drive your chariot into a sea that's parted.
That's a little deep, don't you think, there, Bruce? Oh, mercy.
Oh.
Hope to continue to help people think about the good news of Jesus, who Jesus is as a being, as a person, what he came to do, what he came to accomplish, and who our Father in heaven is, and what this life truly means. Hope it helps you think. Questions, please. I love that. That's what it's open for.
Yeah. Comments?
We love to hear it. We'll definitely love to have conversations. We're here. The, place is open. Anytime you want to have a conversation, we have conversations.
Yeah.
Conversations.
Talk.
So appreciate you being here. Thanks for tuning in. Next week, we'll be back. And we'll see you then. Until then, everybody have a great day in the Lord, and always remember to give love.
And give life.
And give Jesus.